Today I'll be trying out Maximum Settings, which is a cloud-based gaming service that takes an interesting approach to cloud gaming. Most other cloud services give users a virtualized system, which means they're sharing resources on a server with other users. But Maximum Settings offers bare metal systems without resource sharing, which means they're guaranteed maximum performance without worrying about random slowdowns. They offer several tiers depending on which hardware you want, with the highest tier providing a Ryzen 7800 X3D and a 7900 XTX GPU. But the thing that makes Maximum Settings really interesting to me is that it runs on Linux Mint, and they give users the freedom to do whatever they want with their system. You can even run AI and machine learning models which perform extremely well on the GPU. Now, if you've been following my channel, then you know I'm a big proponent of Linux, which is the main reason why I agreed to do this review. So yes, this video is sponsored, but I think it's fitting for the channel. Now, if you're someone who's simply not interested in cloud gaming, I completely understand. I realize that cloud gaming isn't for everyone, but with that said, depending on your circumstances, cloud gaming might make a lot of sense. So let's first talk about a few scenarios where I recommend cloud gaming. For example, if you're someone who travels a lot, then cloud gaming is definitely something you should consider. Whether you're waiting for your flight in an airport or if you're hanging out in your hotel room, having access to your own high-performance remote gaming system is extremely convenient. Another example would be students who share a dorm room or someone who's renting a small room. Many people simply don't have enough space to fit a full gaming rig and are limited to laptops and portable systems. So this is another scenario where cloud gaming can be a great solution. Some people might suggest a gaming laptop, but personally, I'd avoid buying a heavy and bulky laptop since most of them tend to have thermal issues, and not to mention loud fans. Now, a portable console such as the Steam Deck might be a viable option for some people in these scenarios, but portable consoles are extremely limited in performance and will struggle to run many modern games. But with cloud gaming, you can run cutting-edge AAA games at maximum settings up to 4K resolution and 120 FPS, and you can get this experience on any of your devices. This includes the Steam Deck, low-powered laptops, old computers from 10 or 15 years ago, and even your cell phone. There's two methods you can use to stream to your device. The first is by using the Steam Link app, but the preferable method uses an application called Moonlight, which is compatible with all the popular operating systems including Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, and iOS. It also supports the Raspberry Pi, Jetson Nano, Nintendo Switch, and more. It's actually kind of funny how this ties back to my very first video I uploaded to the channel, which was a review on an $80 laptop from Micro Center. In that review, I talked about using Moonlight to stream games to it from my desktop PC, and gave a quick demo showing how smooth gaming can be on such a cheap laptop. Well, it's not surprising how that same laptop also works flawlessly with maximum settings. And yes, controllers are supported as well. When it comes to system requirements, maximum settings states that the minimum hardware requirements are a dual-core CPU with at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. So again, even an old computer that's 10 to 15 years old can be transformed into a modern AAA gaming machine with this service. Now, having a good experience with cloud gaming obviously requires a reliable internet connection, but latency is also affected by your physical distance from the server. Maximum settings servers are currently located in Toronto, Canada, but they also have plans to expand elsewhere in the future. This means that for now, the closer you are to Toronto, the better your experience will be. They say that a latency under 90 milliseconds is ideal for a good experience. Personally, I'm located in the southwestern US, which is actually pretty far away from Toronto, and this gave me a latency of around 80 milliseconds, which is kinda high, but still below their 90 millisecond recommendation. This gave me a good experience in single player games, but for fast paced multiplayer shooters, the latency was noticeable. So the types of games you play might also be a factor here. But again, the closer you are to the server, the lower your latency will be. So for most people living in the US and Canada, your experience will be even better than mine. Customers living in the UK should also have a great experience, but some parts of Europe might have higher latency, so your experience may vary. But I'll talk more about latency in a minute when I demo a few games. Let's first take a quick look at the installation. Overall, it's an easy process. After installing Moonlight, all you need to do is log into your account on Maximum Settings website, copy your server's IP address, and follow a few easy steps. I won't be getting into more detail though, since Maximum Settings already has a good video on their YouTube channel showing how to get everything set up. But I also wanted to mention that they're currently working on their own custom software and installer to make the entire process even more seamless. I was able to try a beta version of this installer on Windows and it looks promising. Now, once you log into your server, you'll be given a desktop with Linux Mint and several gaming applications that are pre-installed and ready to go. These applications include Steam, Lutris, Heroic Game Launcher, Bottles, and Pegasus. And with these applications, you can access any of the popular game stores, including Epic Games, GOG, Battle.net, and more. All you need to do is log into your account and install your games. And in case you're wondering about compatibility, the vast majority of games have no issues running in Linux, with the exception of some competitive shooters that use incompatible anti-cheat software. Linux gaming has come a long way, and these days the entire experience is easy and straightforward, as I've talked about before in some of my previous videos. These systems also come with the latest open source drivers, ensuring the best compatibility and performance with the latest games. And if you ever run into issues, then Maximum Settings has their own Discord server where you can ask questions and get help. So now let's see if Maximum Settings truly lives up to its name and test performance in a few titles. Let's start with Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition, which works straight out of the box without any tweaking, and performance is great on the 7900 XTX. Running at 1440p ultra settings and ray tracing set to normal with reflection set to hybrid, I was able to get excellent frame rates and it never dipped below 120 FPS, which gave a very smooth experience. When it comes to latency, a single player game like this doesn't need super low latency, so it was an enjoyable experience and I had no problems. Now, The Witcher 3 is another title that features ray tracing, but this one is quite a bit more demanding and AMD GPUs have a hard time handling the more advanced ray tracing titles like this one. But even so, with ray tracing set to performance and the rest of the settings maxed out, I was able to stay above 60 FPS for the most part, which gave a completely playable experience and the graphics look stellar. But DirectX 11 is known to give considerably better performance in this title, so I tested that as well, and this time I was able to stay above 120 FPS at max settings, which provided a very smooth experience. I forgot how gorgeous this game is, and to be honest, it's been about 5 years since I played through it, and seeing it again with these new and improved graphics makes me kinda wanna play it again. It's an excellent game and I highly recommend it. Now, even though I knew 80 milliseconds latency would probably be an issue for a fast-paced multiplayer game like Titanfall 2, I decided to try it anyway. And as expected, it wasn't an ideal experience and the latency was noticeable. The game is still playable and I was able to get a few kills, however, it definitely put me at a disadvantage. But again, this is due to my location, which is a worst case scenario if you live in the US or Canada. Chances are your experience will be better than mine. Another multiplayer game I tried is StarCraft 2. This was extremely simple to install using Lutris. They provide an easy to run script that will install Battle.net to your system, and then from there you can install your favorite Blizzard games. Now, I used to play this game a lot, and I was pretty competitive on the ladder about 10 years ago, but these days I tend to stick to the arcade games such as Desert Strike, which is what you see here. Arcade games are typically much slower paced than the regular game, so the latency wasn't an issue at all, and it ended up being a very smooth experience. But now let's see how much it costs to get this level of performance. Their top tier plan is the bare metal system that comes with a 7900 XTX GPU, a 7800 X3D CPU, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 750 gigabytes of SSD storage, and 4 terabytes of mechanical storage. It also provides the fastest internet speed for downloading your games. All this costs about $30 per month and provides a good amount of allocated hours. But if you need more time, they charge an hourly rate, which might be a problem for those who want unlimited access. But for most people, the provided time is more than enough, and the service is considerably cheaper than competing services such as Shadow PC Gaming. Not only does Shadow PC have a higher entry cost, but they also nickel and dime you for storage. Maximum Settings, on the other hand, provides ample storage by default without any extra cost. Not only is Maximum Settings cheaper, but you also get better hardware and your own bare metal system with the top tier plan. They also offer lower tiers at a more affordable price, with the most affordable one being only $10 a month. And like I mentioned earlier, you're free to do pretty much whatever you want with the system. You can even run machine learning and AI models on it too. Thanks to AMD's ROCm on Linux, you can run popular machine learning tools such as Stable Diffusion, advanced chatbots, and much more. I ran Stable Diffusion Web UI and was impressed with how fast it runs on the 7900 XTX. Having access to this level of computing performance and being able to do whatever you want with it is certainly a nice feature. And as far as I know, this is something that's not supported on competing Windows-based services. So overall, my experience with Maximum Settings was very positive. I was impressed with the performance of their bare metal system and I didn't have any issues. So if you're in the market for a cloud gaming service, then I suggest taking a look at Maximum Settings. Not only do they offer great hardware and service, but they're also quite affordable when compared to the competition. If you have any questions, then feel free to drop a comment or head over to Maximum Settings Discord server. And if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.